Daphne. My name is Beth, and I'm back today to record another live tarot reading for everybody here on YouTube. I do want to make sure, check my audio and everything looks good before I get started here. Okay, I think everything looks good. So, so there's been a lot going on lately, but I have started a new channel, and I'll let everybody know the new channel is really exciting actually because I get to kind of break the mold and do different things over on that channel than I do here, which, new and different types of readings and things like that. And I intend to do more of that over there. I have been also posting live recordings on Instagram as well, so you can also check me out over there. And today I'm actually really excited. I shared this over on Instagram, and I want to preface this reading before I jump into anything really to talk about my experience yesterday with the energy and what happened yesterday. So yesterday, that was 4/12/23. I had an appointment that I had to go to over in Issaquah, which is many miles away from here. So I had to go across the mountains, and on my trip, I felt this wave of love energy come through. And I couldn't pinpoint it, where it was coming from, but I felt strongly that it was love, and that it was basically everywhere. Everywhere I looked, all the trees and everything, and it was just my vision kind of changed, and I wasn't expecting it because obviously I was paying attention to my driving and on my trip and everything, and it kind of happened kind of out of the blue. And I reached out to my psychic friend who reads auras and does all kinds of really cool light work. And I was like, Samantha, have you noticed any strange waves of love today? She's like, well, where were you between the hours of 12 and 1? And I was like, I was on my trip. And she's like, when did you feel it? And I was like, between 12 and 1. And she's like, well, I actually sent the entire state of Washington love. And it's a really great example of how we can perceive things, and how sensitives, light workers, empaths, everyday people might have felt something yesterday between that time. So I'm interested to see what people say, especially in the comments. Please leave me a comment and tell me what were you doing between 12 and 1, and if you perceived there to be in Washington State. Okay, so you would have had to have been in Washington State, because to me it was more specific, but you might have been in surrounding states and felt something around that time. So you can leave a comment. What were you doing yesterday between 12 and 1 p.m.? It's the lunch hour basically. And if you felt any shifts like that, and specifically if you live in the Pacific Northwest, or if you live anywhere in Washington State, it doesn't even matter if you felt it. I'm curious to see who felt it and how it impacted people. So the interesting thing is that people do not really understand what light work is. And to me, that's what light work is. It's being able to send energy, specific types of energy, out to someplace or to someone, to utilize or to do it as a healing experience, or to intend that energy to make a positive change or positive shift on the environment, on a person. To me, that is light work itself. So people talk to me about they're a light worker, but they read tarot. They don't actually send energy. They don't necessarily work with energy, although yes, tarot readers technically do. But when I think of light work, I think of what Sam did. Her name's Samantha, and she sent the entire state love, which was awesome. And I felt it. And it was crazy because I felt it and I could see it too. And I couldn't figure out what it was. I was like asking my guys, is it this person? Is it that? And then I was like, maybe I should just, see what's going on with Samantha. If she felt anything, yes, during that time. So it was funny and it was really, really cool. And just wanted to share it. And I was curious to see what other people think. Before I jump in, I do want to say, that I am still offering private readings. You can book a private reading by sending a payment first. So you need to send a payment through PayPal, Venmo, or Cash App. People like to email me and then not send payments. They like to try to schedule first. And I will tell everybody that going forward, I will become incredibly strict about if somebody reaches out to me. And I've said before, okay, this is my email address. This is, my PayPal address. This is my website address. And they email me and they ask me how to book a reading, or they ask me like what my schedule looks like. I am at this point probably not going to respond. I know it sounds bad, but like going forward, I think I've made it really clear in all my videos that people need to send payments first. And the reason that is because people like to hem and haw about what they're going to do. And they want to make sure that they can book it at a specific time and work, but they don't realize that I work around people's schedules. So if somebody sends a payment, I can work around their schedule. I can figure out a time to make it work, and I never have to refund anything to anybody. It's just very rare. So, and I don't have to reschedule. Like most of the time, if somebody prepays, I don't have to reschedule the appointment. So going into Mercury Retrograde, which in the past has proved to me where I reschedule a lot, that is the times of the year which I do have to reschedule. I'm asking everybody who does want a reading to go ahead and send me a payment, and I will reach out to you. You can reach out to me by email to schedule an appointment. And that's the best way to do it. That's the only way to do it at this time. I have, I used to get like between 15 to 20 emails per person regarding, it was like text messaging, and it's just too much for me to keep track of. And I don't like communicating in that way. So it's better to just send a payment, schedule a reading. If you do have questions like in advance of like, okay, this is what's going on with me. Question might be, are you able to channel like my mom or my dad or whatever? Like if you wanted to ask that kind of question, I'm totally open to that. But in general, booking readings are pretty simple, sending payments, and then scheduling the reading. That's how I do it. I like to keep it simple. I like to keep it fast, and I don't really have time or the patience to go back and forth emailing people who want to schedule first, and I just won't do it. So, and at this point, it kind of is like it's irritating to me because I've said, okay, these are my boundaries, these are the expectations, and this is how I want to run my business. And I never used to have people prepay, but this is the only way that I'm doing it, basically going forward. And I've been doing it this way for a while now, but people still are like, what can you do it tomorrow, and they haven't sent a payment. I, at this point, will not be responding to people unless they've sent a payment, period. And as far as donations, people can donate at PayPal, Venmo, Cash App. It's all Oracle Daphne. Cash App is $ Oracle Daphne. Venmo is at Oracle Daphne, and PayPal is paypal.me/Oracle Daphne. I am still partnering with Jackery. The link is in my description box below, just so you guys know. And I'm ready to jump in and pull some cards, see what I get. This is a general tarot reading. I'm doing a general live tarot reading today without really too much specifics. I don't really want to specify signs today. And I know there's a lot of stuff coming up as far as like the eclipses and things, but this is just a general reading. Just to see what we got. Whoever is watching, I feel like your energy is all over the place. It's it's confused. It's doing all these weird things. Like it's very confused, but it's also like really like dropping. So you could have extreme like mood swings or extreme fatigue or like extreme emotions. To me, this is um just kind of like a severe state of being. That's what I want to say. It's kind of severe. And the reason I say that is because we have the moon crowning the reading. We have the moon crowning the reading, and we have the Ten of Swords. And I feel like the Ten of Swords in this position, and in fact, it's very rare to see this like this, but Ten of Swords in this position is, to me, a very, very low, low point, dropping to a very, very, very low point. This could even be like if somebody was to fall like off a cliff, or if they've gone, if they do any kind of rock climbing, this could be like where they fall like a very long distance, like 50 feet, 40 feet. I'm hearing like 40 feet off of a cliff. This could be cliff jumping at best. At worst, this is like a fall that is very damaging because of the height. So, but it might not actually be really, really far for the injury. But it's far enough to create some damage. To me, this is falling, though, very far. Because there's nothing, the Ten of Swords is a girl who's falling in the air, through the air. And there's she's hoping that something is going to come along to catch her fall, but it's like her parachute is broken, her dress is in tatters, she doesn't have anything left, and she's falling. And in this position, this is really going a long time without support, going a long time without anybody really picking this person up, whoever this is. This could be you. This could be somebody you know. This could be just an energy of, to me, kind of being accident prone or having an injury, or like you could have had an injury in the past and you're still recovering from it. Could have had an injury and like there wasn't support then either. I've met everybody I've met who has had some sort of injury. They've all pretty much said that life just kind of stops, and they've all said that it's transformed their life completely. That like basically they're no longer living the same type of life. So, you may have had an injury in the past, I want to say this, that transformed your life in some way where it changed maybe your diet, it changed your habits, it caused you kind of to slow down quite a lot, to rethink some things. I do feel like those of you who feel like there is no support, or there's not going to be a support, and you're falling and you don't have a parachute and it's just going to be a shit show, I feel like there are going to be people that show up to help you. Maybe not a lot, maybe not as much as you need, but there are going to be people. We have this Ten of Wands person. And this Ten of Wands person is somebody who's already carrying a lot of burden. But the funny thing is it's not actually funny, but it's more of like a truth about life, where the people that do want to help or that are kind, are giving, they're already kind. They're not in a position to really help. They probably shouldn't help. They need to focus on themselves, but they don't. They give to others instead. So like, to me, this is that kind of person, somebody who's overloaded on bills, but they go ahead and help somebody else anyways. I'm seeing like someone like that, try to help, but I also see someone come in and support you in some way. I feel like this is a masculine figure. a male figure, could be female, a very strong female, but to me it's more of a masculine figure that kind of comes in to help out. And I want to say they come in to help out and they help you put the pieces back of your life together. That's what I'm seeing here. Confirmation. I'm getting confirmation on that. Maybe they help you get out of debts as well. Maybe they help you pay off some debts or pay off some bills. Anything that's kind of entrapping you, like you're chained to it or bound to it. I feel like they're going to help you there. They may actually also help you get a job. Those of you who are looking for a job, or to me, the Three of Pentacles is about getting the leg up. So whatever way that's going to be, whether that's help out financially, emotional support, someone just being there for you, someone's like a shoulder to cry on, someone who's strong enough to be able to lift you. It's interesting. My aunt once said to me, she's like, can't you date anyone that lifts you up, that makes you feel good, that helps you out? Like, why is it so hard? That's kind of how she was, what she was saying. And I think that there are some people that resist doing that in relationships because they don't want to be loved for what they can do for another person. They want to be loved for them. But I have to say, like, to me, it's a really old story in the sense that, like, Little Women, Amy and Little Women, the newest, like, movie that they did, remake of that story that they did, where she's talking to Lori about how marriage is about money and how she's never going to own anything and she's not going to have any rights to anything and everything's going to be his. And in some way, we're still dealing with that. I hate to say that because, like, to me, there's a strong energy about marriage here being, or support being about, I don't know what the word is. I don't necessarily want to say control. Sorry, there's something in my eye. I don't want to necessarily say it's about control, but it's about, well, I feel like for those of you who need support or need help in some way, I feel like it's going to be mixed. I feel like it's going to be like, for some of you, the answer is going to feel degrading in some way. Like, to me, it's going to feel like you lost some sense of freedom and you've given your power away to somebody else. And for some of you, it's actually going to feel really good because someone's there to help you and there aren't any strings attached, and it is really healthy and it is really helpful, and you will get back on your feet. I feel like for some of you that need to get back on your feet, you're going to get back on your feet. But I feel like, and for some of you, this is actually, the help is going to come through like an ex or somebody like that. It's going to come through someone who's you're not expecting, like some relationship that was broken that you're going to heal. That's what I'm seeing. But it's still going back to that conversation about, not wanting, there is this element of not wanting to be loved for what you do for somebody else. But I feel like the higher lesson is realizing that in our society, if that isn't part of the equation, then there's loss, because we are all in some way enslaved and bound to each other. So it does have to be part of the equation, unfortunately. And that's the unfortunate part, is that people just can't be single anymore and be able to afford to live on the wages they're making. It's just, unless, and even if, let's just say they've gone to medical school and have a great degree and have a great job, unless they somehow gone down a really, really prosperous path, started their own business, worked really, really hard, became really, really crazy successful. Unless that is that person, I feel like everybody else that I'm talking to is someone who is doesn't have what they need to make it. And in some ways going to end up being dependent regardless of whether they want to be dependent or not. And that's like to me like a very hard conversation. And unfortunately, that is a page from like the 1800s. That's a page from the 1700s. We haven't really budged in that regard. How is it possible for people to still have to depend on other people in 2023? But I mean, that whole conversation about needing help from other people and needing to be in a kind of codependency or needing to be dependent on other people is a very challenging one, because I think most people don't really want to have that conversation. They don't really understand that conversation. And it's not surprising that it's a man's energy that's coming in to help, because I feel like the priority is given to the masculine as far as jobs, as far as wages, as far as the leg up. It's still in 2023 that way. I hate to say that. And I know it sounds really, I don't know. I'm not like to me I'm a realist here, and I'm reading the cards. To me, this is what's coming up in the cards. It's not necessarily mean everybody's in the same boat. Some of you, like especially if you're male and you're watching, I feel like you're going to be helping somebody out. Somebody that really needs your help. Whether it's financially, whether it's just showing up for them some way, somehow. It doesn't necessarily mean financially. It could be in an emotional sense. People can show up in an emotional way too, But going back to what I said about the energy being kind of like all over the place, like you absolutely need to work on like to me the scattered pieces, like you're kind of like you're scattering your energy like here, there, and everywhere. So it's very important to be mindful of who you're talking to, how much energy you're putting into that, and be mindful of how far you're driving, where you're going, all that stuff. I feel like I'm talking to a person who's incredibly tired. That I feel like I'm reading for a person who's incredibly tired or incredibly burnt out or incredibly just like over everything. We have the Tower in the position of emotions. We have the Death card coming in from the outside. We have so to me those two things, it's just like we have the Eight of Swords and then the Four of Cups. Four of Cups, you can see she's kind of texting there. So to me, this is where the universe comes in and says, okay, your whole life is about to change in some way. And you don't even probably see it coming. You may have known for a period of time that maybe the way you were going wasn't working, or maybe the way you were going wasn't manifesting what you wanted, or maybe the way you were going just wasn't giving you what you wanted. To me, this is a very challenging path. I would tell everybody who's watching to book a private reading, because to me, this is almost too tough to really dissect. There's so much here. I feel like some of you are incredibly stubborn or stuck on the path that you're walking. And I would tell you, honestly, that you need to switch paths. I would tell you, honestly, that the path that you're wanting to go down, for whatever reason, isn't working or isn't going to work. If you've had a challenging time, you'll know. If for whatever reason you don't necessarily resonate with this, then this could be people around you, people going through hard times, people really, really like having a very challenging time, like on their path, with others, with relationships, with friendships. It seems like to me that everything that I'm seeing here has a challenge to it. It's not, to me, this is like tests, lessons, hard stuff. I've laid out 4 potential, paths that would be like that you could change to, and it only feels like 1 out of the 4 is of your highest good. The rest, I feel like there's a refusal to really see things clearly. There's a refusal to make decisions. There's a refusal to like really look at anything other than what you've already known. There's a refusal to accept what other people are going through. There is poverty for some of you. For some of you, there's a want to control things more than anything. There's an issue within like almost every relationship that you have or every person that you come in contact with, whether that's some sort of like disappointment or heartbreak or upset. To me, it's like you come in contact with person and it just doesn't, it's just not working. So I'm gonna go with the path that is of your highest good. And I'm gonna talk about these cards, these 4 cards, because I think these are the real keys to this reading. Okay. So the first one is the Hermit in the position of emotions. And the Hermit card tells me that you need emotionally to take a time out, to kind of go into your man cave or your female cave or she shed or whatever, to get kind of like a perspective and get back into a healthy place of emotions. Because for whatever reason, emotionally, this is like train wreck material. Okay. So emotionally, you could at times be just not okay. And in order to become okay, you need to go and take time out. For some of you, you have needed a fresh start and a new beginning and hope. And you've needed to have, some of you, you've needed new clothes. Some of you, you've needed a new relationship, a new place to live, could be even a new car. For some of you, you've needed new neighbors. You've needed just to like not be where you're at. For some of you, you've needed to learn a lot. And for some, the answer here is maybe working on getting higher education. For some of you, the answer is starting fresh, like having a fresh perspective. The Judgment card here is, this is about music. This is about romance. This is about poetry. This is about art. This is about feeding your soul. It's not about, this 4 of Pentacles, starvation, poverty consciousness stuff. So your highest self is like, okay, you need to take an emotional time out for you. You need to start fresh in your life some way, somehow. And I would probably say across the board for everybody watching that's going to be resonating with this, you need to start fresh completely. We also have the Page of Cups, and the Page of Cups in the position of attitude is where this is finding your peace and your contentment with the small things in life. The balance point for this Page of Cups is that she's spent too much time being single and that she actually needs to get back out there. But she actually, there's two things. When I see the Page of Cups, it's a positive, like, it's positive self-care. It's positive, like, okay, and maybe go out for a drink with a friend or do something social. It's positive, but I feel like this is like for many, especially women that are watching, not necessarily guys, but like, guys, if you're, let's just say, if you're male that's watching, you need to take time for you. You need like some alone time. You need time to just hang out and not do very much and chill out and, like, I don't know, maybe take the dog for a walk, or like, do things kind of like medium speed, maybe make some food, maybe watch a little bit of whatever, maybe text a few people, but not too many, and just really pull your energy back and be like, okay, I'm just going to chill and take some time for myself. Ladies, I feel like those of you who have been single for a long time, this is where you need to get back on the horse. Okay, the final outcome we have is the 8 of Wands. So some of you need to kind of get out of the isolation mentality of doing like everything alone or doing everything yourself, spending a lot of time at home, spending a lot of time by yourself or doing things by yourself, and actually reach out to a friend to go for a walk, or reach out to a friend to go blah, blah, blah. It's just important that you do so. And the Ace of Wands is passion. And, people might think of this as just the sex. I think of it as the sex card, but it's not just about that. It's finding your passion, being passionate about life, being driven to do stuff, called to do stuff. Working from that very creative, sacral chakra. It's not just about sex, but to me, it's also like, having the hots or the passion for somebody else. And I do want to say, this card sometimes indicates like having more than one partner or dating more than one person. But the old message of this card used to be about staking your claim on one person, like choosing a person to sleep with long term, or finding that person to be with long term. And the thing is nowadays, I was talking about this with somebody where it's, relationships are no longer about making a choice. It's all about like dating forever, and just kind of having sex with whoever, like just multiple partners kind of. And it's like no one really does choose. So I would say it's important to have passion, but choose someone, pick someone, and focus on that one, and put your energy into that one person. To me, it's the ace. That's the single. Like, that's the focus on the one person. Now, some of you are overly focused on one person. Like maybe you're only sleeping with one person. It could be, to me, the Ace of Wands has always been really positive, but it could be negative in the sense that, like, if you are sleeping with multiple people, it can get really complicated really quickly. So I would tell you, for your own sanity, I'm not saying that everybody needs to become monogamous, but I'm just saying the highest way to go here, the highest path, the best path out of what I've seen is where you find a partner. You say, okay, I want to date. I want to be with this one person. You work on committing. You work on being faithful. You work on being loyal. You work on having sex with one person. You work on focusing on one person. You work on settling down, being committed. For some people, this is needing to focus again on having sex, getting back on the horse, and or putting your passion. Like, you can channel passion. You can channel it into a creative project. You can channel it into exercise. You can channel it into opportunities. If you want to channel it into your career, that's totally fine, and that's up to you. But that's not what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about, like, really becoming into one person and finding like a connection, could be sex connection, it doesn't even matter. Like it could just be where you're focusing on one person. Because I'm seeing, like, you can see there's 3 foxes here. And to me, it's not a question of can you sleep with how many people? It's more of a question of can you be committed? Can you settle into one relationship? Can you, how it's sort of like mayonnaise. If you spread yourself too thin across the board, then there's not a lot of mayonnaise, right? It's not that great. So I would tell you to focus on one person. In this reading, that's what I'm seeing. Do you want to do it? That's totally up to you. It's just not my life to live, but that's what I would say. I feel like some of you, like are concerned about a no contact situation. It's interesting, this came up over on Instagram as well. So I would tell you to get a private reading for that, because that's coming up here. No contact. Maybe you're wanting to sleep with someone that you're not in contact with anymore. A lot of people see potential in people. And like, women especially, but guys can do this too, where they can see potential in somebody else. For a relationship, or to have sex with that person, or to blah, blah, blah. And it's very important to have open conversations about, okay, where is this going? Is it possible for this to go anywhere? And really work on being on the same page as somebody else. Because if you're not open about those conversations, then it leads to irreconcilable differences. It leads to one person thinking that there's potential in a relationship when there isn't. It's really about spiritual, it's about spiritual understanding too. Like some people just, like you can have a spiritual connection with someone or sexual connection with someone and not end up in a long-term relationship. So to me, there's a lot of confusion around what leads to commitment, what leads to sex with one person, what leads to, in some cases, marriage. Because I think that it used to be, you'd want to get married and then you would have sex after marriage. Or you liked a person, you had sex, and then you got married, or something like that. But to me, that has changed. So I would encourage those of you who are trying to figure out, like, okay, what's next in relationships, to really kind of reimagine your life. Reimagine your life differently, in the sense that those of you who think that you're going to be finding a person to get married, hang on just 1 second. Sorry, there's this one person that came on here. I don't know what their deal is. Okay, sorry guys. There's some spam person. So what was I saying? What was I talking about? Okay, last I train of thought here. I think I was talking about, yeah, reimagining stuff. So some people who um are waiting to have sex before marriage. Okay, like what is going on? Sorry guys that I have to do this, but this is not cool. Okay, sorry. I'm not sure where I was going here with what I was saying. I think I was talking about people wanting to get married and have no sex before marriage and stuff like that. Everybody's entitled to going on that, but I think I would really encourage everybody to reimagine their path, reimagine what they want from a partner, reimagine what they are expecting out of a partner and what is realistic. And, for those of you who aren't spending time dating, is it realistic to expect what you're expecting from a partnership that you might get into in the future? I guess too, for those of you who are dating more than one person, and the question is, are you being realistic with each partner? Having healthy conversations, being open about the fact that you're sleeping with more than one person, or you're dating more than one person, or to me, I will say this, the only problem that I feel like I have ever really had with any kind of cheating or like multiple partners is the lies, is the deception. It's not the fact that people want to have more than one experience. It's the deception that comes from not being open about what's really going on, not being open emotionally, not really having healthy conversations, being more closed and deceptive about how you really feel, what's really going on, how many people you're actually sleeping with, how many people you're actually in relationships with. Some people would say that they're not dating anyone, but they're talking to many people, or they're talking to multiple people. And in my view, that's kind of dating, because that's giving people an impression that there's interest. And especially, like, if you're dating women, I would understand, guys, women that date multiple guys. I feel like it's different. I feel like for guys dating multiple girls, I feel like girls typically, more so than men, see the potential in relationships. So there's more of a chance for there to be deception, because women have expectations or can get disappointed. To me, there's disappointments here. So some of you have been through situations where there wasn't total transparency about who you were dating, or how many people were in the relationship, or what was really going on in a relationship. For some, this is even deception within a third party situation where, you're dating somebody who's married, has a boyfriend or girlfriend, and they're not really 100% with you about what's going on with their marriage. The worst thing in a third party situation is to find out that the person who's cheating is also cheating not just with you, but with other people, and also continuing to be involved sexually or otherwise with their partner. So like, so it's equivalent. It's like, so to me, it's sort of like, I see this this reading, and I see, okay, like, well, what's the point? What's the point of deceiving other people? Number one, what's the point of cheating if you're just going to continue to sleep with the person that you're cheating on? It doesn't really make much sense. What's the point of dating multiple people when nobody knows the truth? When nobody is really getting any full story, like really understanding or having like any kind of connection at all? Or there's just like this, or there's a lack of decision making regarding the whole thing. So it's like, if you don't choose anybody, like, then kind of like, what's the point? Then you end up being single, and so does everybody else too, and it is kind of a waste of time. I think that's just my perception of this. We have the Wheel of Fortune here, which is about needing to make a decision, needing to spin the wheel, needing to make the change, needing to really, and some of you, this is biological clock. To me, that the wheel is the clock, to watch the time, to realize how much time you're spending with people, how much time you may be wasting throughout your day, or waste. I don't even actually believe relationships are a waste of time, but I feel like for some people, you might be quote unquote wasting your time talking to somebody, or you might be wasting your time being involved with somebody when you could be involved with somebody else who's going to be able to give you what you need, or going to be able to fulfill whatever expectations that you may have. I do see that. I do want to check my chat to make sure that this person was not. Okay, so let's get into this. This person needs to go. Like, what the F? Um, it's not okay to have spam, guys. It's just not okay to have spam, to do spam. So, I think I'm getting to the end of where I really want to be reading anyways, at a point where I think I want to end here, but I was going to pull some last cards, I think, to get some final messages, and see what comes through. If there's anybody aside from the spam person, that there's a spam person, please say hi in the chat so I know that at least there's one person that's not spam that's still watching. I'd appreciate it. You can say hi. But there's a spam person that just continues, and it's like they're not stopping, and so I have to report them. And anything that's being sent negativity wise is being returned to sender and transmuted. Like, I'm not tolerating it. And it's not okay to harass me on this channel, because this channel, I feel like it's really, at this point, I've done so many readings that it's really for people that really enjoy my readings and are learning things. I learn things when I listen to other readings, and I learn about relationships, I learn about love, I learn about like what, you know, is going to make things better for other people. And I'm really here to help and inspire other people and be a light for other people. And if somebody's harassing me, it's just not okay. Hi, Bobby. Thank you so much for saying hi. Hi, Shauna. Okay, at least there's some person. Well, they don't get that. They don't get to do that. Pola says that that, that she's, well, here's the thing, is that I truly believe that if my work is meant to be out there, my work is meant to be out there. Um, and that's pretty much how it is. But yeah, if that spam person continues to go the way they're going, it's not okay, and they have been reported, so hopefully it'll stop. I was pulling some cards for last messages. Ultimately, I don't like to put my time and energy into that. So let me see. Okay, well, okay, guys. I think we've got a handle on it. I don't know what's going on with, like I said, the chat and crazy, crazy spam, but we're just going to continue here in my reading and see if I get any last messages, and hopefully something will come through that's good. Hi, Star Angel. Thanks for saying hi. Some of you do need to listen to music. We have the power of sound here, and the power of sound is listening to music. That's also, like, for some, it can be like more of a shamanic journey experience when you listen to music. But I truly believe sound is powerful, and music is powerful. So whether it's ambience music or whether it's actually like listening to a playlist of recording artists, any kind of music is going to really be helpful for people at this time. I want to remind everybody that every positive thing is going to that you do is going to have a ripple effect in the world. So every time you do something nice for somebody else, it's going to like resonate out there, and ripple effect later. It's interesting, even if it's something really, really small. And it doesn't, like, there is no, like, in the universe, a small thing can be equal to a very large thing. So it's not like, so it's more of the intention. They say it's a thought that counts. So and everybody has their own barometer as far as like importance. So you could do something really small, really kind from someone for someone, but it might actually be very important or meaningful or very big to them. So, I get this the card about the Dharma, uh, which is about having completed a lot of karma or gone through a lot of stuff, and then doing things like everything that you do karmic wise, like every positive thing actually like shows up in your life. So for those of you who are watching, and I'm not going to say this is applicable to everyone because it might not be, but for those of you who are watching, I want to remind everybody to do an act of kindness, a random act of kindness for somebody, whether it's something small or very large. Like like last year, I don't know if you guys remember, but like they were demolishing the there was a homeless camp downtown in the community garden where I was planting all of my stuff. And one of the homeless guys down there, who was always there, all he needed was like a thing of trash bags to help clean it up. And I was like, I have this extra box of trash bags, and I'm just gonna drive down there and I'm gonna give him these trash bags. And I swear to you, it was like it just felt really good to do that for him. And it was not something huge. I think the box of trash bags maybe cost $6. It wasn't something that like he was really expecting me to do, but it was like a random act of kindness. It was something that I did for him that also helped and affected a lot of other people. So anything, even if you think it's not going to do anything, do something nice, anything positive, and even if it's a nice word, kind gesture, something positive that you can do for somebody else, random act of kindness, paying it forward. I've talked about stuff like this on this channel before, but it really makes a difference in people's lives. And I really think that the more we can do that, it is a karmic thing in the sense that like you guys that are watching who have completed a lot of karma will see actually the results of it. So like almost immediately. So like if you do something nice for somebody else, then you're going to somehow it's going to come back in a positive way. That's what I want to say. Some of you have like hit maybe kind of like a 0 point in your life where you're kind of like maybe you've gone broke, or like a 0 point is kind of getting to a point where you're just like, I can't take XYZ anymore. I can't do XYZ anymore. And hitting that point is actually a good sign, because that means usually like you're at a point of surrender. You're just like, you surrender. You're no longer fighting against a current or fighting against a flow. You're in a place of like, okay, it's time to maybe do something new or rebalance your life in some way. There are things a lot of times that are just out of our control too. Like, and this is important for everybody to realize, like things that are out of our control. So it's, I don't know, like to me, it's about understanding your role in life. And once you hit like your 0 point, you're going to know when you're there. Um, Understanding, okay, like it's almost like understanding boundaries too, like understanding, okay, like what is within your control. And it's the serenity prayer of like understanding that there's certain things that you're not going to be able to control or do to change any outcome. And I usually tell people, especially if any of you are like really like at a 0 point and you're like, I should have done something different, or I could have done something different, or maybe you're upset that things didn't go a certain way with a certain relationship or a certain person, and maybe you could have said something different or done something different. And I usually walk people through, and I want everybody to say, there is nothing I could have or should have or would have done differently to change the outcome of today, or to change the outcome of that relationship, or to change the outcome of the situation. There's nothing you could have done or should have done or would have done differently, because the outcome is what it is. And there are certain things that you cannot control, and that's just part of life. And I think this, to me, the zero card is kind of where I want to leave off of, because I think it's a really positive. It's actually really, really positive. Even though, like, at times, I got to a 0 point when I lived in Virginia, and that was the hardest time of my life. I had nothing. And I was praying to God like every day not to take away my toothbrush. It was just like, I just felt like very empty, but at the same time, full of potential. I was still full of potential. And I want everybody to leave this reading thinking, okay, a 0 point does not mean there's never going to be anything ever. The 0 point means really there's so much potential for things to change and get better, and for you to really make something of your life and of yourself. And that really is the lesson. It's like a catalytic point when you say, okay, I don't know how to beat the game of life. I don't know if anybody knows how to beat the game of life, but you try. You say, okay, I'm at a 0 point, but I'm going to try to do something with my life, with my time, and make something of yourself. And to me, it's a beautiful thing. 0 is also, to me, the number of completion, the number of completing karma, really. And actually, when you complete something, whether it's a cycle, whether it's a school, or whether it's a job, or like something comes to an end and you don't continue, you can't really go any farther with it. It's a completion. It's a 0. You get to a 0 point and you're like, okay, and you start fresh, So I think that's where I want to leave off here. I do want to make sure that at least have one person, Star Angel or Star Love Angel. I think they had asked about taking questions. I don't take questions anymore in these live readings. Somebody said that they were going to send a payment one time. They never did. So I only take private readings if somebody has questions. If you'd like to ask questions, please go ahead and send a payment through my PayPal link. All the links are in my description box, but you can find the link also on oracledaphne.com. I'd love to read for you guys. So that's just the best way to schedule a reading, send a payment, and kind of go from there. Wish you guys all the best. Thank you guys for being patient. Hopefully you guys have gotten something from this reading. And yeah, I just wish everybody the best. I send everyone big hugs, big kisses. And I'll talk to you guys again soon. All right, take care. Bye.